Hello, dear Intercoiffure friends around the world, and welcome to our Intercoiffure On Air. It's a great pleasure to welcome today the co-founder and president of the luxury hair care Oribe, Mr. Daniel Canales. Welcome, Daniel.
Thank you, Peter. This is the first time I've ever been to the House of Nations, so thank you for welcoming me.
When people talk about Oribe, it's such a passion and confidence. Did you think the brand would be as successful, well respected as it is today?
We launched the brand in 2009, and it was during a global recession. We knew it would be successful, but we weren't sure it would be so successful. It was amazing. It caught on right away.
The name Oribe, I don't know if I pronounce it right, because you are around the world with different languages, and I have heard different ways to pronounce it. What's the right way to pronounce it?
You and everyone else. It's really Oribe Canales. He was Cuban, but the world knows him as Oribe.
Okay.
So you're right either way.
Okay, so Mr. Oribe, and the name of the brand is Oribe.
Very proud to have his name on the
however we
bottle.
pronounce it. Mr. Oribe, in this case, was an amazing hairdresser. Can you tell us a little bit about him?
He was incredible. I brought today the first interview that we had together before we created the line. It was over a year's period of time in 4 sittings, and this is his entire career. The sittings lasted as long as it took to smoke 3 packages of cigarettes. He only smoked half of one, but this is his career, and it's the original interview.
Oh.
He was amazing. He was an amazing hairdresser. He was charismatic. His style of hairdressing was very glamorous, and it was very rich hair. Very respectful. He loved being a hairdresser.
But he smoked cigarettes, not cigars, as a Cuban.
Cigarettes.
Yeah. Daniel, the brand, very well known. People are obsessed with this product. Tell us why.
You know, when we started out with the brand, we thought, how do you make something best in class? And to do that, which we didn't know, we sat back and said, everything matters. Each piece matters, from fragrance to the packaging to the performance. Everything has to count. And if we could do that, we would have something great.
In other words, great represented in all the parts. Is that the idea?
Absolutely. I've brought a clip of one of my colleagues, Jennifer Lacey Smith, and she's our vice president of product creation. And Jen will do a good job explaining to our viewers.
I spent weeks researching coral, 2,500 different types of coral in the world. And we netted out on a vintage cocktail ring from the 50s or 60s. I worked with a color specialist to spray up 38 different shades of coral to find the perfect shade that would be most striking for that package. And we netted out at this beautiful creamy coral, very similar to our inspiration of the cocktail ring for bright blonde for beautiful color.
Daniel, I saw the holiday collaboration. It was absolutely beautiful.
Thank you. We started doing collaborations working with craftsmen and artisans. And what the collaboration does is it makes us better makers, right? It has us collaborating with real artists, so we have to listen, we have to work together, we have to learn. This collaboration was done during COVID remotely with a Japanese artist by the name of Kohi. It was done in a triptych, 3 patterns. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it looks really great and beautiful and colorful also.
Thank you.
I like the approach. It's thoughtful. Can we talk a little bit about Oribe fragrance, Côte d'Azur? It has become synonymous with the brand. Was that on purpose?
It was very much our intention to do this. The idea was that if everything mattered, we leave the consumer with this beautiful fragrance. Oribe worked with a really well-known recording artist. And he would say when she left the room, she left her fragrance in the room. And that's what we were after. I remember being on 57th Street in New York at a perfumer. And we walked into the room and the perfumer said, "Okay, what does Oribe smell like?" And we looked at each other and we smiled. And she said, "Okay," gave us a piece of paper and a pencil. She said, "I'm coming back." She came back later and said, "Okay, tell me." And Oribe looked up from the desk, he cleared his voice and he said, "I want it to smell like you crawled into a Birkin bag and died. I want it to smell like lipstick and fashion and tobacco and sex." I think he may have freaked her out.
Wow, it illustrates a picture, a feeling. You landed at Côte d'Azur with the name.
Oh yes,
the
it had
fragrance, yeah.
all the glamour and the heat that Oribe implied of the French Riviera.
Yeah. It sounds very good and a perfect cooperation with Intercoiffure because we decided just yesterday that our next event, which is normally yearly in Paris, will be in Saint-Tropez. So we go to the Côte d'Azur and we can feel the fragrance,
and the glamour.
fragrance, yeah,
Good.
the fragrance from Côte d'Azur. there.
Good, I'll bring enough bottles for the people that attend.
Yeah, that's great. There is so much detail in what you and your team do. So much thought on your why. I'm not surprised that your education program is called The Journey of Mastery. What does mastery mean to you?
Yeah, mastery, it's a complex word. But it's a very helpful word. And I brought a clip of several of our lead educators that are doing a New York Fashion Week show. And so one of the educators is keying the show, but all the artists are working with them. So let's watch the clip and we'll talk after.
Yeah.
For this season, we decided to use an asymmetric French twist going forward. We looked at a mood board of Arte that decade where everything was very sculpted, everything was very decadent. What I wanted to do was to sculpt snake-like figures that resembles the embellishments of the pearls that were all over the clothes, the intricate details of what they always do. We decided to use all the model's natural hair, to not do any type of wigs. It's actually very different than what their signature look is usually about every year.
I like this very much, and it's my attitude to our business, and it's exactly what we are offering to our members how to do. Is this a place we can get to?
The idea, I think, of mastery is elusive, but within the journey really is the destination. If you saw the seriousness, the look on their face, they're trying really hard to be a little bit better, to do a little bit more. And it's just like Intercoiffure in our network of stylists all over the world that want to be a little bit better and they're willing to commit the time to it. And I think if we lose the fear and we give into it, it's a little easier to get there. But personally, I'm enjoying the journey. I'm not looking for that destination. I want to stay on the journey.
Okay. Could you tell us a bit about the Oribe atelier in Scandinavia?
Very excited. Our first atelier is opening in Copenhagen. We have 75 global artists all over the world, from Milan to Munich to Singapore. And the list is growing, just like the folks that you saw in the video. And this is a place that they can come, they can train, they can work together, and they can build a community together.
Okay. Is leadership an organizational value? You often talk about the importance.
It absolutely is an organizational value, and it's a personal value. My daughter Sadie always says to me, she said, if I had a nickel for every time you use the word leader, I would be a very well-off young girl. But I was taught by my mentors early about the importance of leadership. And at the end of the day, the beginning of the day, we set the tone for our community and our organization, and we've got to do the right thing, right? So leadership is something very key. I like your leadership.
Thank you. Thank you. And as we are the leading hairdressers and you are our leading partner, but any ideas or insights about the future after the last period of problems, war and pandemic around the world? What's going to change in the next 5 years?
Well, I think I don't have a crystal ball. And I do wish the world well, and I wish all of our members well. It's been a very difficult period of time. I think a wise woman once said, she said, instead of worrying about what's going to change in the next 5 years, that maybe we should figure out what's still going to be relevant, what's still going to be important within the next 5 years. I think that's the approach we take. So if we take a look at it as leaders, our point of view, coming to the table with a strategy, making sure that we're creating an environment that's inclusive and it's safe and everyone has a sense of belonging. When we look at our customers, hospitality is such an important part of what we do, and that's where the opportunity is. And probably the biggest opportunity is that when our guests come in, they're coming in for maintenance, but they're enjoying the service as a luxurious experience. And between those two, that's where our opportunity, I believe, lies.
I think this fits very well together with what I said on the New Year's event for Intercoiffure. Absolutely. I think quality is the sense for the future, and the people are looking what they are spending their money for. And if we give money, then it's the secure side of the future.
Absolutely.
Daniel, you have not only been an Intercoiffure member for a long time, but you are also a great champion of the organization. How did you first get involved?
I love Intercoiffure, and I first got involved because one of my mentors, Horst Reckelbacher, who is the founder of Aveda, used to take us to Intercoiffure. And Intercoiffure in North America, where our chapter is, the best leaders was there. The best owners were there, and they would bring their team members. And it was very much a collegial atmosphere. We had great leaders. And when I take a look at today, we've got Sheila Wilson, who's a wonderful leader of North America. We've had Frank Ambuza, who is a fabulous leader. And I think Lois Christie was a two-term leader who was the first female leader. Yeah. And all these people were so generous, like yourself. It's an unpaid position. And they really advocated for our community, and they gave so much.
Yeah.
Oh. And now I'm a proud member of the Cow Salon division. Oribe is part of that umbrella. And together, we're now sponsors of Intercoiffure along with our sister brand, Goldwell. So it's an amazing moment in time for me, my career, and our brand.
Yes, and I think your story is great for me too, because Horst Rechelbacher is original and Austrian. Now we are here in Austrian with you again.
Two amazing Austrians.
Yes, no, and I think also this partnership, like sponsors, is great for us and to work together. This past year, you were honored with a knighthood and an official distinction, the Industry Knight and the Industry Officer Award from Intercoiffure. That's quite an accomplishment.
It is, and it was a great honor. I was very proud. My wife, Sonia Kachik, came. She was in the audience. She watched it. It's hard to believe a career. And I remember looking it up at all the senior members, and to be in France and to be so honored by my peers globally, it was a great moment for me. Thank you.
Daniel, it has been a great pleasure to spend the last couple of days together, getting to know you. Thank you for your insights and the Oribe story. And I think this is great, and you all can see how we are working together. It's a real partnership, and we are working as partners.
Absolutely. I have, when I joined the Cow organization, I was watching a story of the founder. And there was a quote at the end, and I'd love to share it with our audience because it resonated so much with me. He said, "One should know that great success in life is not possible without good fortune. Good fortune is only given to those who work diligently and behave with integrity." Now, the young Western woman who was interpreting that for us, she said the meaning was that when we work with integrity, that we unlock the good fortune. So it gives us this gentle push forward. And I think that all the people watching and listening to our talk today it's up to us as leaders. It's us as Intercoiffure members. It's up to us as members of the community to bestow as much good fortune on our community and to lead as well as we can. This was such a pleasure to be here today.
Yeah.
I got to come to Paris. Thank you.
You're very, very welcome. And I think all members around the world, you have heard how Daniel said, I am a member, we are members of Intercoiffure. I think this is great that not only we as hairdressers feel us as members, also our partners feel them as a member of Intercoiffure. Thank you again, Daniel. Dear members and colleagues, thank you for watching us. I hope you enjoyed this Intercoiffure On Air, and we will see you next time either in an Intercoiffure On Air talk online or on a live event like we said before. In the next one will be in Saint-Tropez in July 23. Thank you and bye-bye.